Yeah, welcome everybody to our session today. I'm super happy to see so many people here joining our session about user acquisition, journey hacks, and basically on how you can increase revenue with App Store optimization on the one hand and product onboarding. Covered by App Radar from my side, and then we have Fastic, Tobias here joining us. How are we going to structure this workshop? So we're kicking off with a short introduction that you actually know who we are behind. A short introduction also about App Radar and Fastic, and then we dive right away into it on how you can create a high-performing App Store listing on the one hand, and then go over and nurture further those leads and provide an optimized product onboarding that will increase revenue. And last but not least, we obviously will also have time for your questions, and we have prepared a special offer at the end of the presentation, so stay tuned. All right.
Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Toby. I hope you have a good show today. I'm in the app business since over 10 years. I'm co-founder of dating app Lavu, intermittent fasting app Fastic, and most recently the app aggregator Epic. And I'm focusing on growth for mobile apps. That's my passion, and that's why I'm here today.
Yeah, taking on that, also apps being my passion. I've been working over the last years also with heavily focusing on organic and paid user acquisition across various industries, working now as a product marketer at App Radar, so basically bringing in that knowledge in growing the App Radar product itself. And that brings me already to a quick introduction about the app that we are taking as a case study today in the session, and I'll give over the word to you again.
Yeah, for all of you that do not know Fastic, it's the leading brand for intermittent fasting worldwide for weight loss and well-being. We have the largest fasting community with over 20 million customers. It's a remote-first company, founded in Berlin 2019, and we are top ranked in over 115 countries.
Yeah, and about App Radar, for those who are not familiar with it, we are an app marketing tool enabling best practice marketing for basically all businesses with apps. So focusing on organic and paid user acquisition on the one hand with our self-service tool, and also we offer tailored solutions with our in-house agency, helping you succeed with organic and paid user acquisition. But I will not dive into details here. If you're interested to learn more, we would be more than happy to show you around. There is our team downstairs at our stand, and also, yeah, would be super happy to chat and show you around inside our App Radar tool. And let's get right into the topic of today. I'll be kicking off with how you can actually create a high-performing App Store listing that will drive revenue on the example of Fastic. So basically showing you some learnings that we gathered over time. And yeah, first of all, showing some high-level app marketing results that Fastic was able to achieve over the years. In total, a budget of 24.4 million euro was spent. That resulted in over 25 million installs with an average CPI of below €1. So I think really great results here. And also in terms of ratings and reviews, over 639K ratings with an average star rating of 4.7, also showing really the great in-app experience that Toby will then guide us through later on. Yeah, but before we go to the next slide, actually, how you can, of course, there has been a lot of testing and various scenarios that has been tried out and learnings along the way. But what I would like to show you now, or what we would like to have the presentation based on, is actually one of the learnings that I think you guys can also take further and try it out for your own app, is based on 3 different target audiences that we have covered for Fastic. So on the one hand, it's women that want to lose weight and really trying with that search intent behind, looking for an app helping them. On the other hand, Fastic also helping people with improving their mental health and well-being. So a totally different search approach, I would say again. And on the other hand, sportive men who want to lose weight, but also like burn fat, and yeah, again, like having a bit of a different search approach, search intent behind. And how we are going to nurture, or how we nurtured those 3 different target audiences based on basically 3 steps. So on the first hand, attracting those relevant right users, nurturing them further, basically convincing them to click the download button, and then also making sure that we keep them engaged and re-engage old users as well. Okay, then let's dive right into it on the first step on how we can actually, or how we made sure to bring relevant users to the store listing that in the end of the day will convert and will also stay and bring us revenue. Yeah, it's, I would say, as a first step, really making sure that the keywords that are used are relevant to the app itself. So really having that search intent of the user base behind covered in the whole store listing. So really making sure that as a first step, building that keyword backlog that describes the app in the best possible way. And obviously with a volume behind, so making sure that keywords that are used and that you're focusing on have a certain search volume behind, are not too competitive, especially if you're starting off and working your way up. And then also trying, ideally, if you have already keywords that you're ranking for, try to focus on them and push them further. So for example, if you do have keywords that are in the top 30 positions, try to bring them into the top 10 and so on. And then how we did that actually for Fastic is targeting basically the 3 target groups that I mentioned before, focusing now really on the different search intent behind. And for example, here we have a keyword set really focused on women that wanting to lose weight. So for example, targeting keywords such as intermittent fasting specifically for women or app weight loss for women. And then we did the same, prepared the same set of keywords, or the same logic, I want to say, for people wanting to improve their mental health. So again, a different approach, people looking for keywords such as well-being or eating mindful and all in that direction. And then another keyword set really trying to focus on people on sportive men, on that target group basically, all in the direction of also weight loss for men, for example, being an extract here of the keywords that we used in the end. But once we've covered those 3 different kind of keyword sets specifically to our target audiences, we made sure that on the one hand, it's reflected on the ASO side. So basically making sure that also in the store listing itself, the keywords are reflected. And in that case, obviously, it's the default store listing page where where I would also recommend you to bring in keywords that are applicable across the different target audiences. So really those high level or high volume terms are included there. So for example, what is really a keyword that is bringing revenue and traffic behind is, for example, obviously the intermittent fasting, where we're also performing very well on an organic level, making sure that we have that included in that case in the title as the most important keyword field, but then making sure obviously to use the keyword field and stuff to get those combinations and also target the different audiences. And obviously then those 3 keyword sets that we covered, so based on the different target personas, to really what we also did then is to also bid on them specifically with Apple searches, so setting up the dedicated ad groups based on the different personas. Yeah, now it's all about, we've attracted those relevant users, and now it's all about, we have them in the store listing, making sure that we convince them to actually click the button to download the app as well and make them stick in the end. So that's why it was so important to bring those relevant users. And in general, what it's all about, what we're focusing on now, what was really a key driver for Fastic are the creatives. So really making sure that all the creatives that you use are appealing, are well tested. So really having this heavy testing approach, I would say, trying to identify really those high performing concepts. So which set of screenshots, which kind of feature graphic brings the most clicks and installs in the end of the day, making sure to regularly monitoring that and seeing what kind of changes do move the needle and do improve then also the conversion rates behind. And I would say expert tip, and what we will also now focus on in the next slides is custom product pages. So basically with what we covered before, having included on the organic side the keywords, but also on the paid user acquisition side. So with Apple Search, it's leveraging that user journey further, making sure that it is a consistent and as much as possible personalized journey. And that's, I would say, here as an example is the default product page, which obviously is also well tested. We did a lot of different things here and included a lot of best practices that we've learned is an improvement of the conversion rate. So for example, here having on the first screenshot, definitely a trust builder included or showing certain achievements that others of the community gained by using Fastic. And also the expertise highlighting that and giving the trust to the user that is the potential one to download and also bring you revenue. But what we really noticed, what was making the difference then in the end of the day, is really having this kind of customized user journey all along the way. So if we think back of what I mentioned in the very beginning, when we talked about we have those dedicated keyword sets, we focus on now the keywords and the search intent behind women that are looking for ways to lose weight. We then, if we imagine it from the user journey point of view, people really looking now for that keyword weight loss for women and then arriving on that dedicated landing page with custom product pages, that was really the point where we saw the highest improvement in conversion rates and were able to significantly increase the acquisition costs. And it's, I think, also here very well reflected that it's not only the pictures that speak for themselves, that speak in the user language, where we have women reflected, but also the keywords that are written there. So really kind of, hey, I was searching for that and now I get also what I want. And then further also in the app, I get that. Another example here, as I mentioned, the mental health target group, also very much, I would say, as you can also see on the screenshots here, a very different approach and a very different search intent that we are covering here, and also here heavily focusing then again on this specific search intent, making it as customized as possible. The mental well-being being a big focus, and relaxing, sleeping better, and really having that consistent from the first time that the user lands in the search results, sees the app, and then also is convinced to download because it's again reflected. And last example about the sportive man, and again, as you can see here, is really, I would say, not only the pictures itself, but also again the language in a way that it's reflecting with the user. And I would say this is really something that I would highly recommend if you haven't tested it out yet to make use of it and see how much you can improve the conversion rates as well and lower the acquisition costs to, in the end of the day, hopefully also increase the revenue. And that takes me to the last step of the acquisition part, I would say, making sure to also re-engage old users on the one hand and also attracting new ones. And some of you are smiling already in the audience. What am I meaning by that is making use of in-app events and live ops. So really here key to trying to drive the visibility by testing different event types, seeing which kind of concept performs best for your specific app, and also trying to, at least we've seen the results from there by testing those hypotheses, by including, again, important keywords in the metadata, so in the event metadata, basically. And the keywords that we focused on there were more the generic ones, so really those fasting keywords and diet keywords. But we also seen here an uplift in organic keyword rankings. So here, two examples on what was working very well for Fastic is on the one hand promoting the major updates, so engaging, especially if you imagine like now, not only attracting new users, but also making sure that people that had already downloaded Fastic in the past would come back and download and engage again and become an active user. So really here talking heavily about retention as well. So basically when they would look for intermittent fasting, for example, they would appear in the search results, had the app downloaded already. So then in that case, in the search results would be the in-app event visible with a new reason why to download the app. And that worked very well. Also the seasonal event that is currently ongoing actually, health for the holidays. So people wanting to get ready for the new year and coming again back to, I would say, when we think about all those steps and coming to a conclusion now from my end is really making sure always to keep the search intent of the user in mind and then trying to customize the user journey as much as possible, leveraging features from the store such as the custom product pages, but also in-app events to engage them further. And now I will give over the word to Toby, who will tell you how to leverage those installs further with an optimized product onboarding.
Thanks for the nice presentation. So why is this so important for Fastic? Just an insight, 50% of the customers coming organically to us, and especially through the stores, and if they're looking for intermittent fasting and we are number one, this then drives a lot of traffic for free to the platform. So today I want to talk about Fastic's onboarding, and I learned that this was already covered in the morning by Andy in another session, but I have the new slides. I think they are a little bit outdated. We're talking about new shit today. This is the basically our very long and very well tested onboarding, and why I will guide you through the onboarding and giving you some insights why is this so important to have this in the mobile app, especially in the health and fitness and well-being environment where we need a lot of data to make the journey as customized as possible for the customers. So sorry for the slides are in German, but Fastic is live in up to 6 languages. If you just need to this in parallel in your language, just go to the App Store and download Fastic. So but let's start with the first page. This is basically value proposition. So we communicate here the end goal. We figured it out during multiple user research weeks and months. What is the final end goal? Why people using Fastic? It's not. I mean, in the beginning, normally they're talking about weight loss, but the final end goal is well-being, and this is our value proposition. What we put in here is like feel well in a short time. It's not like lose weight 100 kilo in like 3 weeks. This is not our value proposition. The value proposition is super important because we going then very quick to the first steps here. We need to opt in because this is mandatory for a lot of regulatory reasons, and we figure out that the best time to display those legal stuff is in the beginning of the onboarding. We have different A/B tests running, and a few publishers put it in the end. We figure out it's better to put it on top and not to hurting the onboarding flow afterwards, because we have a very long onboarding. So step number 2, we start now with personalization. As I told you already, it's for Fastic very important because we try to make the journey as personalized as possible. And for this reason, we need a name, of course. And then it's important that you use those user input for all the following up slides. So in this case, now in the next slide is my name already in the question, and this brings more a personal feeling for the onboarding for every customer. And step number 3, it's all about the goal setting of our customers. And before we asking all the questions, we're explaining the reason why we asking that question. And we're giving also the feeling that's okay to answer all those questions. Otherwise, if we would remove this slide, a few people will drop off because, okay, there's too much questions about my personal health and so on. It's very important that you have always like kind of a trust dialogue, or like a kind of a dialogue what explains to customers what will happen afterwards if I give out so much data. And another one, what is very important to have in onboarding is to always have a progress bar on the top, and it could be also on the below the call to action. But we figure out in the top is a very good place, and in this case, people can see how long the onboarding is, how far they are in the process, and people like to complete the onboarding. Is kind of a gamification, and there's also a little figure, I think from LinkedIn was the figure. It's good to not to start the progress bar with 0 progress. It's always good to start with at least a little progress. Then the people like to, I can make this happen. I can reach the goal. And another hint here on this page, every button and every color, every text is well A/B tested. That means we had back in the days we had some different wordings in the onboarding, and if you're changing like the just one word can change the conversion rate up to 20 or 30%. So there's a lot of room to improve here. And one tool to mention if you like to understand your customer journeys, we used in the beginning of this very long onboarding the tool called Smart Look. So it's only possible to use on Android. Then you can have like a spy through the eyes of your customers. It's a video capturing tool, so you can figuring out what they are reading, where they are drop-offs, and so on. It's very helpful, especially to understand and to designing the onboarding, but also for the product itself. It's nice. Step number 4 is individualization. It's again we starting with a reason why we asking so much about your personal data, and you know personal data. It's also now in USA very important for customers, and we explaining here, for example, that we're not using this for any commercial purposes. That we use this for creating your personal plan and so on. That customers get the feeling, okay, it's okay to input my real birthday, because it is very important for a health product that you're not working with fake data. So then it's the next one is the height and the weight and the goal weight. It's also super important for Fastic, because we're creating a plan afterwards, and as much as data as we have, then we can make the plan more work for our customers. Step 5 is education and trust. Similar to the other hints, we again start with an explanation. If you click here on more, then we lead to a lot of studies about around our topic to say this is safe, this is well proven, it's not new, and this is very healthy. And then we introduce our medical board, and this is a kind of doctors, nutrition experts, and so on, because every single piece of content at Fastic, it's proofreaded by experts, and it's also gaining trust within the onboarding. Step number 6 is individualization part 2. Again, now we're talking about nutrition, style, and how active they are, and we also need the input about the push reminders. And very important in our case is if you have any problems with your health. In that case, we have a little dialogue, and if you have any problem, go to your doctor first, and then you can continue with the product. So step number 7, still like it's a very long onboarding, as I said. It's to get one of the most important things, at least for us, I think for most of you, it's to have the push permission, because this drives retention. It's not a secret, and we always have, before we showing the native Apple dialogue, our own native design dialogue, explaining why we need that, and showing also the advantage, why it's important to grant us access to your push permission. Or if you're not 100% sure, we can do it later. What we not like to see is that the people click on don't allow, because then it's very difficult to us to get permission. I think it's nothing new for most advanced app publishers, but again, is a very nice refresher. And then step number 8, it's creating the plan. This is something. It's like spinning the wheel. It's taking another 5 seconds that we like working with all this input before we displaying the final plan. The plan is based on all the user inputs, and we give him already an outlook when the goal will be reached. You can adjust that because After the onboarding, we come up with your dedicated plan, and everything is then customized based on all the input what we got in the beginning. And then finally, the paywall. I think most important, at least for us, because we're very focusing on return on ad spend. We compare here our price tiers, and the paywall is very long. You can scroll down, and we figure out also with Smart Look that people scrolling down, at least our customers, they're a little bit older in the US, they're scrolling down, they read everything, and this is something what I didn't believe for my own behavior, but we saw it in our data, we saw it on Smart Look, and this is something that we not remove it. We let it very long, and we added even more content to it. We have a two-step paywall because it fits very good to our very long onboarding. And now we summarize everything. We summarize what the people are choosing. Say, here's the discount, this is the final price. And we're adding here like our well-being guarantee because if you're not feeling well after this time, you're getting money back. And then finally, celebration dialogue. This is well animated, and then you are already in the product. Like fun fact, 80% completion rate of that long onboarding. This is it's surprising. It's very long, but people like to complete the onboarding if you're doing this very well and if you're explaining that very well. And of course, if you have the right targeting, you have the right customers, then they will end up as a new customer. Some key takeaways, just as a little summary before coming to the question part, is take all this user input for the following up steps, as we did. Set up goals for the onboarding, what you like to achieve. In our case was a very high onboarding rate, which is kind of surprising that we reached that goal with 80%. And second goal is then revenue, by the way. Choose your third-party provider. In our case here in the onboarding, Smart Look, where purchase lead could be for your billing backend or for A/B testing paywalls. Do not build everything by yourself. This will hitting your schedule, I guess. So it's, for my recommendations, always using no-code solutions. Then get and use the data from the customers, work with personalization as much as possible. Not for all use cases is possible, I know, but for at least for the most apps, there is a way to make it very individual. Have a focus on push permission for retention optimization, and have a clear reason why in your onboarding. So that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Toby, so much for this nice presentation. And before we dive into the questions, and we are very looking forward to all your questions, I promise to have a special offer in the end of the presentation. And yeah, reach out either to Toby or also to me via LinkedIn or via email. Send me a link to your store listing, and I'll gladly give you some notes. And we will also pick a winner to have a free consulting call between 60 minutes. And of course, also we do have a promotional offer for our app marketing tool. So with the code AppGrowth, you can get 30% off on the first 3 months with App Radar. And I would, as said, be very happy to show you around also afterwards, somewhere around here in the one.